Welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create the home page of the Mon template. So as you can see, this is the home page here. And this is what we'll be creating today. If you haven't already created your graphics for the home page, go back and watch that video tutorial first, as you'll need those files for what we're doing now. So working within your Squarespace platform, you're going to go to Pages and then click on the plus sign in the main navigation and add an index page. I've already got mine here. Anything you add in the main navigation here will automatically appear up here. So the last link on this template is by default a button, just making sure that whatever you put there is nice and featured. If you don't want it to appear on your navigation, you'll just create it in the non-linked pages. Okay, so starting with the home page and the top part. So we'll add a section to our index page and we just call this welcome. I just use the blank layout for this one and click start editing. So it automatically takes us into the editor, and we're going to add the image of the feature image that we have already created, which is this one. So I'm going to open that. Now with all of these images, I turn off the caption. You can see it appears here when I do, like it removes that from appearing. Now these images on the homepage are collages, which is a new feature of the Squarespace platform. This particular one we need to right align so that the collage sits in the right spot. Now we've already set up the style guide, so if you haven't already done that, yours might look a little bit different. You can still work with your images if you haven't done the style guide yet, but make sure you go back and do that so that it is actually looking how you want it to. I would suggest that you start with the style guide that we've suggested so that your site looks and feels the same. And then you can go back and tweak things according to your particular site. Okay, so the image is in there, and then we're just going to go apply. So to edit this text, you just click on the field. So we'll just say your site name goes here, and then a brief description. Goes here. Once you've done that, you can select save, or you can just keep moving on to the next part. So the next part is to create the newsletter block, and we'll start with the text. So we actually already have a text box there, so we'll start here and click on heading 1, making sure we're on the bold. So just clicking that if it's not on, and we go join the tribe. Next up we have a bit of text, which I'm just going to copy from here, but of course you'll be using your own variety. So this is all right aligned, so we want to right align that. Next we'll add in the newsletter box, and there is a specific video for that. This newsletter box on the front homepage doesn't have any additional text in it because we actually wanted to add it there. Then we select a require name field. Then the alignment is the center, and we also want it to stack fields on top of each other for this particular one. Head over to your storage and connect that as per the video that goes through this in more detail for in your toolkit elsewhere. So just going to set this up for now, and then you can go over to the advanced sections and change any of those settings. So we'll click apply. Now they're sitting on top of one another, and we want them to be sitting side by side. So we just hover over until we get that hand symbol appear, click and drag, and we want to sit it next to the join the tribe. So just making sure that it wherever you click and drag it, it will show you with a black line or a black box where it's going. Now we just want to resize it a little so that it sits kind of in this white space here, but underneath. This will depend on what kind of information you put over here and how big your text is, but you can play around with that. You don't have to have it exactly that size if you don't want to. And you can add a big spacer if you feel there's a need for more white space there. So we'll save that section. Now we go into the banner. So we've already created the banners in the header graphics video. So you can add a banner two ways. You can hover over here, click on the settings icon, then go to media and add an image that way. Or you can hover over the live page and go banner, and it takes you straight to that section. Add the image, and this is our header banner we've already added. So once that's loaded, we'll just head back over to the basic section. What we do is we add 3 enters. So we hit enter 3 times. And this just makes, you can add text as a description over the banner image, but we don't have that because we added the text to the image so that it's just in a particular style. But adding these enters means that it will expand the image to a certain size. So I'll show you what that looks like before we do that. So finally, we just want to make the focal point wherever your text is. So if you've changed the image slightly, moved the text up and down, just drag that focal point into the middle of your text so that that is always the focal point no matter what size screen someone is viewing this on. So I'm going to show you that first. So as you can see, the banner is quite small, and this is what I was talking about with the description. So we'll go edit the banner again, click basic, and then hit enter twice and click save. As you can see, that made it the size of our home page. Actually, it might be one more. So hit enter 3 times. And that will give it. Perfect. Okay, so that's our welcome section. We now want to add another section, and this is the about section. This uses an image that we've created already, which is our second feature image. Sorry, you can hear my doggy in the background. And again, this is a collage image. This one sits on the left-hand side, and we just want to make sure that we turn off the caption, which that's not showing on this, so I'm just going to apply. Oh, because we already changed it to the collage. So about you, and then brief description of you goes here. Okay, so this next section is a little bit more complicated than the first one, so I'm actually going to go back to my original so that I can make sure that I'm showing you exactly what you need. So we're going to start with adding the text. I'm just going to, oopsies. That's why it's important to save it every step so you can always just undo. Alright, so I'm just going to highlight this text and copy it. Paste it over here. So we want to right align it. So of course you'll be changing this heading, using heading 1 to whatever you want that heading to be, and adding your own text here. Then I'm going to add a spacer. And then I click and drag it so that it's aligned with this, and it sits approximately halfway. Yeah, it is halfway across the page. So that's where that needs to be. You can resize that if you want to, but I probably wouldn't do that until the end where you've got all your content in. Then we'll add a text block beneath the spacer. And this is where we'll have our work in the heading, or whatever you want to be featuring on that part. Then I'm going to add a button underneath this text. So button, we've changed our text to keep reading. We also use the small size buttons which we've set up in the style guide to look like this, and we click through to particular content. You can also click through to a file or an external link if you wish to. So we want to right align that so it sits over on the right hand side and apply. Next up, we want to add these buttons so it sits underneath the work with me. We've created these images already, so these are images. Add the image, making sure we turn off the captions on these ones, and adding the click-through URL to wherever you want these images to go through. That turns them from an image into a button. So we're going to add all 3 images for now. Turning the caption off on each and then adding the URL. Not adding the URL on my tutorial, but you will on your live site. Okie doke. So we want this to sit under the work with me, but as you can see on the original, there's a little spacer so that it sits flush on this left hand side. So we're going to click above it, scroll down to the spacer section, and then hover, click and drag, and just making sure that we're getting it in the right spot. So we only want it to be a spacer for this particular one row. So we'll click it there. If we move it too much, it will put a space in between all of those elements in the middle of the website. So we just want to put it there. We'll resize that so it's so the image sits there, and then we want to do the same with this, pulling that across, and what we actually want for that is we want them on another row. So we're going to pull them down after we've added a spacer. Pull them down so they're all on the row. And then do is create a spacer here. So it just breaks it up sometimes differently to how you want. So we want to just create a break so that we can get this part right in the right format we want. So that's how we want it. These are all the same size. This is aligned with this one, and this one sits to the right of this one. And then I'm just going to delete this spacer block so it just moves it all up. As you could see, and it's actually good that you see some issues that can pop up so you can work out how to fix them, but just sometimes when we've got all these different kind of blocks, you can want to align it with something that you don't actually want it to align with. So that's why I've created the full width spacer so we could make it how we wanted to, and then just deleted that so it moves it up. So then I'm going to save that section as well. Now this time I'm going to use this break to add the banner. So I'm going to do my hit enter 3 times. I only hit enter twice then. And then add an image. So this is our about banner. Moving the focal point into the middle of the text. And then that's all good to go. We'll save that. So there's our about section. And then finally we just need to add the blog section. So we're going to go blog, blank layout, start editing. And then this one, we can just go. This is the live version I'm looking at now. So we've got the header, we've got text, and then we've got what we call a summary block and a button. So we'll add the text first. So adding some text, center aligning this and using heading number 1 on the blog, but of course you can add whatever you'd like here. Then we add a summary block. So the summary block refers to content on the site elsewhere, and so nothing will actually appear for you until you build your blog posts, but we've used the grid option And then in the layout we have chosen, let me just double check what we've chosen. So we've chosen 3.3 by 2, so that's this what you need for your graphics. And then, oh sorry, we actually use the carousel. This option. 3 items per row. We take off the featured text because we like to have the header there. And then, so these are the settings you'll want to use. So 3 by 2 to make sure that your images are correct according to the images we provided you. 3 items per row, large text size, center alignment, metadata shows below the content. Then we've chosen to display only certain things. So we show the title, show the thumbnail. So that's the title there, that's the thumbnail. Show the excerpt if we added an excerpt, which we haven't for these blog posts, and then show the read more link. You can turn them on and off as you please. So primary metadata, you could put the date that was posted, the category it's a part of, whether that's comments. There's nothing on that for us, so that's why nothing's coming up. And you can also play around with these filters, but we go more into the blog posts later. Okay, so that's done. And as you can see with the carousel, oh, you can't see it now because we only have 3 blog posts, but a carousel comes up with these arrows here, so people can scroll through more options on your homepage. Finally, we want to add the button. So I'm just going to apply it. That's good. Oh, there we are. There's the carousel arrows. So finally, we're going to add the button, and we've used view all. Then we click through to the content, which is our blog. And sorry, it's mixed with the small size, and we center align that one. Okay, so that is how you create the blog section. We've then added a spacer and an Instagram feed. So we add the spacer, and then we scroll down to Instagram, social blog. Then you can search a hashtag or add a particular number of items. So ours is 4 items. And then we use the grid option, we make them square, and for images you can play around with the padding. Open link in a new window so that it opens in a new window when someone clicks on an image, and then we just say join me on Instagram. Might be heading, might be different heading to, and then we drag that next to here. Okay. And there we have it. We've got the blog, we've got the homepage all set up. I've actually typed that differently, so I've entered on each of those. Okay, that is how you set up your homepage. Oh, actually, I'll show you how this. So we edited the pre-footer content. So this will appear across the entire site, but of course you want to set this up for your homepage as well. So we just added in a social links button. So scrolling down, social links, and then we show you how to set up your social media platforms in another video, which is at the end of your toolkit. Finally, we've got the footer content, so hovering over again, we've just added a newsletter box, and this time we made the fields go across, and as we showed you before, there's the newsletter. There's the functions that you can do in the newsletter, and then we added a tagline. This is a good place to put any copyright details. You can also link to other sections if you need to. Okay, there you have it. That's how you create your homepage in Squarespace for the Mon